Sega's done something very interesting over the last few years. They've revived a few of the franchises that people genuinely thought would never see a comeback. Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, and even Shenmue getting another shot. And yet, there are a handful of games, especially JRPGs, that Sega just continues to leave untouched. Games fans never stop talking about, games that still get brought up decades later, and games that feel even more relevant now than they did when they launched. So today I want to talk about JRPGs and Sega classics that Sega is sitting on, and why fans very clearly want them back. Let's start with the obvious one, Skies of Arcadia. If you watched my last video, you already know how strongly people feel about this game, and for very good reason. Skies of Arcadia simply wasn't just another JRPG from the early 2000s. It was a game built on optimism, exploration, and the thrill of discovery. While many RPGs of the era leaned into angst, brooding heroes, and darker themes, Skies of Arcadia dared to look up, from a literal sense and an emotional sense. Airship exploration, a world built around the joy of adventure, and characters who believed in one another as well as the future. And Sega has already proved the longevity of Skies of Arcadia with the Skies of Arcadia Legends version that was ported to the GameCube. A version that refined the original as well as showed how much the foundation of the game holds up. Even now, 25 years later, fans are still asking the same question. Why hasn't this game come back yet? Next up, we have Phantasy Star, a franchise that helped define console JRPGs. The original Phantasy Star games were genuinely ahead of their time. Due to how they blended sci-fi and fantasy seamlessly, the strong cast of characters that the games contained, and the sense of scale that felt huge on the very limited hardware at the time. Yes, Phantasy Star Online lives in its own space, but the classic single-player lineage has been left behind. And that's wild since modern JRPG fans are constantly asking for story-driven RPGs, extremely unique worlds, and something that feels different from medieval fantasy. Phantasy Star already solved that decades ago. So Sega already has the blueprint, they just haven't reopened that drawer in years. Then there's Shining Force. For a lot of gamers, this was their first tactical RPG. Long before Fire Emblem became a household name. You had grid-based combat, memorable characters, and a tone that blended seriousness with charm. Strategy RPGs are thriving right now. Most recently with Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles winning the best sim/strategy game at the Game Awards, and also games like Fire Emblem, Triangle Strategy, and Tactics Ogre all doing very well. And yet Shining Force, one of the genre's pioneers, still remains stuck in the past. Not because it wouldn't work today, but because it hasn't been given the chance. And then we get to Panzer Dragoon, and this is honestly an interesting one. Panzer Dragoon has always been a cult favorite. Atmospheric, strange, and unapologetically unique. A world that felt ancient, alien, and mysterious in a way very few games ever managed. And despite how niche people think it is, fan demand is still very real. So real, in fact, that there was actually a fan at John Cena's final match holding up this sign. Seeing this "I sold Panzer Dragoon Saga for this seat" sign was definitely something that stuck out to me while watching the match. Obviously a joke, but also, was it really? That's the kind of thing people only joke about when a franchise or game actually means something to them. We already saw a remake attempt, and we already saw renewed interest, so it's easy to see the appetite is there, the identity is there, and the fan base truly never left. And when you take a step back and you look at all of the games that I just mentioned, you realize that a pattern emerges. Sega certainly isn't lacking great IP, they're just sitting on it. Skies of Arcadia, Phantasy Star, Shining Force, Panzer Dragoon, each one offers something that modern RPGs are often missing. A sense of wonder, strong identity, optimism, and a willingness to be different. In an era where RPGs lean dark, heavy, and grim, these games certainly feel like lost treasures. And let's be real, the market has never been more ready. JRPG nostalgia is currently booming, remasters and remakes are currently selling extremely well, new players are hungry for the classics that they missed, and Sega doesn't need to reinvent these games, they just need to give them life again. Just a remaster or a modern reintroduction is all that's needed. Just give these worlds the chance to soar once again. I can almost guarantee that Sega is not watching this video, but all I'll say is this, Sega, you don't need to create new icons, you already made them. Those icons are just waiting for their returns, and fans are waiting for said icons' returns as well. And some of these games, well, they never stopped flying, Sega just stopped looking up at them. And I want to know down in the comment section which of these games have you played, and if you have, why do you love them or dislike them? And also, if you haven't, would you be interested in picking any of these up if they were to be remade or remastered? If you enjoyed the video though, then don't forget to like and subscribe, as I've got more reviews, breakdowns, and retrospectives on the way. Thank you all so much for watching though, and I am out. Peace.